You mentioned Dan Mullen as someone who, if you ask Mississippi State fans, should be on the hot seat. And if you ask both of us, we'd say every one of those people is crazy. But if I told you going into the Arkansas game that Miss State would have 533 total yards, 10 yards per pass, and 6 yards per rush, you would tell me that they would win by how much?
11 yards per pass,
10 yards per pass. If I told you going into the game Saturday without seeing the result or any of that, I would say, all right, Mississippi State's going to have 533 yards, 10 yards per pass, and 6 yards per rush. Would you say they were going to win that game, and how? If so, by how much?
Do you want me to be completely honest?
Yeah.
I'd go, oh, wow, they might have won. They probably scored about 50. We did a preview for this game, and if you remember my prediction, I think I said something like, Mississippi State 56, Arkansas 51.
Yeah.
I was expecting this game to be an absolute shootout, and if you told me that those two stats, and I heard Mississippi State only averaged 6 yards per carry, I probably would have thought, they probably lost.
Which is amazing because they did lose in spite of scoring 42 points. And I was thinking when I was watching this game, because I said Arkansas wins big, and I was feeling real great about myself and thinking that Husky is cowering over a beer somewhere, sad that his prognostication wasn't coming true. But then I remembered that you said two things. One, Arkansas, if they can throw it, they throw it so well that if they can do that consistently, they will win. And two, you absolutely should watch this game, whoever you are, whatever teams you like, because it's going to be an absolute track meet. And if there was a Big 12 style track meet in the SEC this year, this was it. Since we love numbers, even though we like defense, since we love numbers, kind of take us away on this one. Let us know what we saw.
Yeah, this game was a track meet, right? I mean, it just there's no if, doubts, buts, whatever. It was a crazy, no holds bar, offensive match where Arkansas passing like crazy puts up 58 points. Mississippi State trying to run the ball to keep up, fails to do so. And it really, to me, comes down to the fact that Mississippi State kept the pressure up except for the second quarter. I mean, Mississippi State scored 14 in the first, 14 in the third, 14 in the fourth, and 0 in the second. If they continued to score 14 in every quarter, they put up 56 points, and this is a darn close ball game. In the second quarter alone, Arkansas won 24-0, and that was it. But to sort of look at the stats, which I know you bring up, I'm sorry, I digress a lot. Arkansas stats were gaudy: 11.7 yards per attempt, and again, that's on 26 throws, and 8.7 yards per rush on 41 carries. So they had a lot of plays, a lot of volume, and consistently had tremendous per play production. Mississippi State's, like you were saying a second ago, on their own are also pretty darn gaudy. 9.9 per on 33 attempts, 5.9 per on 35 rushes. I mean, that's impressive stuff itself. And that's how you end up with a 58-42 game, because these teams they just really didn't slow each other down very much. Arkansas scored on every drive in the first half but one because they missed a field goal. I mean, they marched down the field and scored, and then they get the ball in the second half, and they scored a touchdown on every drive in the second half. So, all told, you can really argue that Arkansas had maybe 10 missed points. A perfect game for Arkansas is 68 in this one, right? Or is that right? I guess I missed a 2-point or something along the way, but I forget where that happened. But yeah, I mean, if you take out that 4 points for the field goal, that could have been 7, and then the 7 for the other one, 11 points. That's how we're getting to 69. I can't do math, but it's a 69-point ball game that they managed to score 58. That's incredible. And Mississippi State also scores a touchdown in every drive in the second half. They scored most of the drives early in the first. It's really this two sets of possessions, start of the second quarter, where they ran the ball three times, didn't get any yardage, punted it, and then they get the ball back, tried to throw it 2 out of 3 plays, ended up punting it, and then they kind of went back to mixing balance and scored it the rest of the time. But oh me, yeah. I mean, it just crazy offensive numbers. 7-11 of third downs for Arkansas. If you want a telling stat, only 5 of 13 for Mississippi State. So they really weren't so great in third downs. Most of the point being here, there's only 24 third downs in the game. These teams were staying ahead of the sticks far more often than not. But when push came to shove, Arkansas, it's a little bit like the discussion we had about in the LSU recap. Arkansas in third and long or tough situations because they were throwing the ball really well could actually convert it. Mississippi State just didn't really, with any consistency, handle bad down and distance, and that was enough to kill a couple drives. And in a game that's this high scoring, that's all it takes to lose. It's the weird corollary. I said last week, if you have a team that throws the ball really well and a team that runs it really well, I'm going to pick the team that runs it really well because that usually has more consistency. The thing is, if you throw it really well and you're consistent in a particular game, you do win. The issue is looking out over the game, rather than in hindsight. For every one of these 58-42 games, it's just as likely that Arkansas stalls and has a weird loss. And, a perfect example, by the way, is Ole Miss last week against Vanderbilt. That, if you're that dependent on the pass, sometimes you're just not on sync, or most of the time you're not perfectly on sync, and you have at least a bad quarter or two. I would have expected Arkansas of the two teams to have a quarter where they don't score in this game. You expect them to be the hot or cold team. You don't expect it from the team that's running the ball successfully.